Hi, it's Elizabeth Jane Beard speaking. I'm recording this as I see this room, rather than me looking at the camera. And there's a very good reason for that. And that's because I want to bring everybody's attention to what is actually going on in this room from the point of view of that which surveys the scene, I guess you could call it. That which is speaking is that which surveys the scene. I. There is no I. There's definitely no I. In here, look around. There's no I here. Look at it. Can you see an I? A single I? Any kind of I? I don't see any I here. Now, is there an I in my mind? Is there an I in my mind? There is no my. There is definitely no my, and there's no, if you call thoughts, constant stream of thoughts, a mind, then yeah, but it doesn't happen anywhere. The thoughts don't occur anywhere in particular. They certainly don't occur inside a head. There's just absolute rubbish that they occur inside a head. I'm not showing you enough of this room. This is pretty boring. It's pretty boring, this room. This is my view. This is the view. Now, the thing that I'm trying to point out, hopefully by seeing this, just while we're looking at it, where is the proof in this moment, right here in this moment, that there is anything other than this room? Where is the proof? It cannot be proven in this moment that there are any clothes inside those drawers, or that they are drawers at all. It's just a picture. It's a picture of some rectangles with some round knobs on them. In fact, those aren't real knobs. Those are just pictures of what look like knobs with shading on the top and on the bottom to make it appear as if it's three-dimensional. Where is the space? There is no space. There is no distance between what looks like a toe underneath the duvet and the chest of drawers. There is no space between those two. They're on a picture. They're a drawing. A drawing. Can you see that? It's flat. It's actually a flat picture. Now, if you really, really get that, and by you, I mean the mind, that little swirly thing, that of swirly string of thoughts, which doesn't really meet my criteria for a mind anyway, but whatever. A swirl of thoughts that make you think that you are a person inside a meat suit. Well, have a look at it. Have a look at this view and tell me where the proof is in this moment, apart from referring to your mind, I guess, referring to thoughts, asking questions with thoughts and getting thoughts back. Look at this view and tell me where is the proof that any other beings exist. Okay, wait. Suppose that in the next instant this door opens. Now, at the moment, I have no proof there's anything on the other side of it. Nothing. No proof that there's anything on the other side of that door in this moment. All I have are memories of when I went through that door. How I got into this room. The fact that I go in and out of this room all the time and I see the same thing on the other side of the door. The fact that I live in a country, on a planet in the universe. There is nothing outside of this room. There are no people outside of this room. There is no thing apart from this one. And it has an ego called Elizabeth Jane Beard, also known as Lisa, that thinks it's a person. And it clearly is not a person. But it thinks it is. This ego self, thinks that it's a person. So it looks down here and sees the shape of a body under a duvet, although you can't assume when you're looking at it from here that there is a body under there. All there is some shapes in what looks like a duvet. Is it a duvet? Well, what is a duvet? Just look at it. Or it's just a picture of some red and white stripes. Okay, red and white stripes. That's all it is. And they're sort of got some kinks in them. It looks like a mountaintop, apart from it's covered with sort of a fabric. What kind of fabric is it? Well, we don't really know because we're only looking from here. At this moment, at this picture, we don't know what it's made of. Because that requires a story about what we can see. So it's like, oh, it was made of this. They use this for the dye. This is how it was manufactured. In this moment, how did it get here? In this moment. Not the story attached to how it got here. This picture that you're seeing, what you're viewing, how did it get here? The stories that are attached to every single thing that is viewed to create a world that is three-dimensional. But it's not. It's not three-dimensional. If you take down everything that's holding that separate personhood together, then you are left with this flat screen. And no person, because there's nothing, this is not a body under here, but even if it is a body, the one who is speaking does not inhabit it. There is a body in the visual field. Look, there is a body in the visual field. Yeah, pajamas. So there's a body in the visual field. Hold on, I'll do this. Legs, torso, a body. But it's a picture. It's a picture of a body, which is not separate from the other things in this picture. It's all part of the same plane. It's all of it is bouncing off the same screen. There's no differences in perception. There's no depths. There's no distance between my leg and the wall at all, apart from a story that I might have about it while I'm sitting here saying, well, if I put my leg down, then I'll be able to see the wall and I'll be able to put my feet on the floor and walk over there. That's all a story about what might happen in the next instant. It's a story that your mind makes up to hold it all together. Without that story, what are you in this instant? What is this? What is this experience in this instant? Without going to your mind and asking questions or having the mind try and look for answers that it doesn't have. Or that it thought it had, but finally realised that all of that, every single one of those thoughts used to put together a world of separation is an illusion. It's an illusion that you are separate from your surroundings or that you are separate from me. It's an illusion. It's a very good illusion, and it's just done using language. Language creates it. Language creates minds, and minds create separation. And the thing is, the mind of the one here, this one, Elizabeth Chambers, which doesn't make sense, but kind of does. So I'm just showing you more of a view. This is, just imagine for a moment if this was where I was going to be stuck for eternity. Because this is basically it. This is this room. Nothing outside of it. Oh, I can hear things. See, the thing is, hearing things, then you're going to have a story about where you heard it from. Oh, I'm hearing it. It relates to, that guy's doing his carpentry work over the way. Somebody's washing their car. I can hear kids. Okay, so I can hear all those sounds, and what does that mean? The mind is going to have stories. It's going to have stories about where those sounds come from. And there'll be quite a long, laborious story attached to it. And if you'll picture yourself outside your neighbour's house, and there'll be, there's so much packed in around that in terms of beliefs and memories about when you were with that person or when you were out there. You will be able to prove to your mind, your mind will be able to prove to itself time and time again under immense pressure that you know that there is anything other than a flat picture. It will go to town. But at the end of the day, it can't. It can't actually, when it's presented with all of the evidence and where all of its best evidence is stripped away and shown to be shallow, in that moment, you ought to be able to see that you are not a person inside a meat suit. You are the one that sees, and the one that sees is not even a one. It is actually doesn't exist. It is pure seeing. You are pure seeing. And putting a you on that doesn't make sense either, because pure seeing, where there's no separation between that which is seen and that which sees, which doesn't mean looking at your own reflection. It's much closer than that. It's much closer. There is only seeing. And in order for seeing to take place, there has to be something going on. But all that is going on is not that something is being seen. All that's going on is seeing. Just seeing. And that if there are other seers out there, then that is a very interesting topic to look into. From my point of view, I've always struggled with it. Looking at this view and then struggling with the idea of beings that are walking around, say one come in this door right now, open this door, come in, and I look at them and they look like they're made of cardboard and they've got a suspicious look on their face. They are not who they say they are. They're not 100% honest. One of them comes in the door and I pick it up straight away. Something picks it up straight away. Something registers that there's a problem. It's called paranoia. It gets worse and worse and worse as the day progresses when you are in this state. When you are living in this state where there is no separation between anything, there are no boundaries around things, there are no things, there is just a view. This view, that's it. There's nothing apart from this view, and there's nothing inside anything. This didn't come from anywhere. The pajamas weren't manufactured in a factory. All of those things are stories. It's all stories, none of which tell you how this got here right now in this instant. Bang. Now, bang. How did it get here? You're not allowed to go to your mind to see if you figure it out. You can't figure it out using your mind. Your mind will just give you more and more and more thoughts and try and create a very convincing picture of how everything got here as evidence of the fact that it got here the way that mind has described, but it didn't get here that way. It did not get here that way. There is no explanation that the mind can come up with to explain how this moment got here now. Bang, how did it get here? Mind cannot explain it. No man can explain it. No being can explain it. No mind can explain it. It's impossible. It's impossible for a mind to explain it. So don't listen to it, because it's bullshit. Whatever your mind comes up with will be bullshit. Because there is no separation. There absolutely is not any separation. That is the natural or pure state where you do not see separation. It's the state that babies see in, that young toddlers see in, the state of separation, state of oneness. When they start developing language, they start to see everything as separate, and their mum becomes a separate person from them, who they can manipulate if they want to. Anyway, there's not much else to say on that. I really think that if you watch this and don't really understand what I'm talking about, and understand the pointing, because I've tried to be as specific as I could, even though this is a really weird thing to try and get your head around. But I'm hoping that this might wake some people up to the truth, because I don't think that spiritual folk who think that they're already awakened really truly understand what it means to be awakened, because the things that they're saying about what they're experiencing while they're awake aren't really in keeping with this description of an experience that I have and that other people who are truly awakened have. I mean, this is it. This is what we're talking about here. Now, what that means is a whole other discussion altogether. When you figure out what this means about the seeing and where it might go, which is mind trying to work out a route out by going forward in time. Because mind sees this as a cell. Mind is frightened in this state, looking around here. It's like, this is a cell, oh my God, I'm stuck here. This is eternity. Because there's no moment other than now. This is eternity. Right here, looking at this, is eternity. Okay, so the ability to move legs. All right. Well, that's not so bad then. Well, it actually is, because all there is this, like looking at this. How's that going to keep me amused for eternity? I'm stuck here for eternity. Could I get up? Well, I don't. There's no proof. There's no proof I could get up in this moment looking. Because the eye that speaks is not the eye that controls the body. Because the eye doesn't control the picture, what the picture says and does. And then the thing is, which eye? Certainly isn't Lisa inside a body. There is no Lisa inside a body. There is a mind, which is just a string of thoughts, and there is a body which is referred to as Lisa, or as Elizabeth Jane Baird, whichever you want, usually Lisa. This is what it means to be awakened, to have finally figured out what that means, and this is mind coming back in again, a healed mind, one that can cope with the truth. When that mind comes back in and says, okay, what does this actually mean? Then you have absolutely, and I'm saying you, which is interesting because it's only me here. So all I can really say is I had no understanding initially of what this meant. When I first started seeing the world like this, I didn't understand what it meant. And so it was very frightening. And then it was constantly very, very frightening. And then there were times in between where I did understand what it meant. And then I'd lose that understanding and I'd start to have negative experiences again. I would become paranoid. Very, very paranoid. And that's what happens. We become paranoid. We who are experiencing non-dual reality become paranoid very, very easily. Because, I mean, looking at that door, I don't know who's going to come in. Anybody could come in at any moment. Now, my mind could say, oh, well, you know, the rational mind, I mean, well, nobody's going to come because, you know, whoever comes and, you know, you've got your doors are locked and... But frightened mind would just be looking at the door going, who's going to come in next? Now, an ego which had been raised in a supportive, safe environment as a child would not expect that anything other than a kind, compassionate, loving person would come through the door. Whereas a child who had been repeatedly abused and lived in fear would expect something scary to come through that door. Do you see? Not reduced, but the human experience deconstructed down to its basic elements, which are as seen from birth through to about 2.5. This view, with the right conditioning, i.e. being surrounded by kind and loving people, results in a happy and healthy human being. But if that doesn't happen, then it results in them going back to the state, non-dual reality, and re-experiencing the horror of being in that state and having scary people around. Lots of scary people, no one you can trust. Nobody you can trust. Who's going to come through that door in the next moment?